So this we're gonna get into a little bit of interactive screen time here in a little bit. And so I want you all to really take some notes. You can take pictures of some of the slides we get to. But at some point we're gonna open up some of these apps and we're gonna like just test run them real quick. So I'm gonna have to make Gabriel. He's gonna have to like edit some of this stuff because YouTube and when we put these in the learning center, they don't like you to show people's data. They don't want you to like show people's address and stuff like that. So that's the only thing that I don't want to put out there, and that's the only thing we'll be careful of. But in the beginning, right now, we're going to jump into a couple of things that's wide open. All right. But the idea is that we kind of help you really figure this piece of the puzzle out. First, though, here's my disclaimer that I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I am a licensed agent, but I don't really like that. I don't use it. I don't like that thing. So anyway, make sure you get your own people to help you. You should have an attorney, an accountant, a CPA, bookkeeper, whatever you need. All right. But here's the thing. Here's the fact that this is real life. And if y'all look around you, look at the people around you, most of them aren't going to do this business. Most of them aren't going to ever actually take the step to invest in real estate, buy real estate, sell real estate, be a lender. They're not going to do it. They're not going to get into a syndication. Most people get to this point and they freeze. They don't get the right education. They don't get the right knowledge. They don't get the right support for them and their current situation, and they just don't move forward. Does anybody know anybody like that? Oh, yeah? Yeah, sure. Is anybody in here going to be that person? No. Right? All right. Everybody, I want to hear you say it. That's not me. That's not me. I like it. All right. So what does that require? It requires real, actual hard work. This is not easy. It's not quick. This is a real business, and you're dealing with massive transactions, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Okay. So it's big. But the great thing is that it's actually available to everybody in this room. Real estate is that thing, that one business that everybody can do and everybody can get in at any level, right? No matter where you're starting. Michelle and I, we started, again, way back when. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any credit. It was straight out of college. I don't know why they sold me a house, but they did. It was 2007, so probably anybody could have got a house. But that's great. It got us started. And then we started again, really like trying to invest. We didn't have any cash to put down. So we had to borrow from USAA, gave us a personal loan, right? So it doesn't matter where you're starting, you can get started in real estate. Just need that specialized knowledge. I keep talking about that. Figure out which way you're going, what works for you. There's a couple of I was just telling Gabriel, we're going to have a call. Some of y'all had this call where we talk really about like where you are, where you want to be, and what do you have to bring to the table. And that is usually what I use from my experience to say, well, which one of these do you want to go towards? If you have a whole lot of money, but not a whole lot of time, and you're like, I want to be a wholesaler, I'm going to tell you you're crazy. That's a stupid idea because wholesalers, the only thing they need is time. Okay. So don't go in there. You would be wasting your time trying to be a wholesaler if you already have the cash to buy deals off the MLS that somebody just told me about, right? Or from another investor. Okay. So get the knowledge, get the information to go to your path. All right. So what does it look like? We talked a little bit about this marketing wheel last month, but today we're going to talk more about some specific pieces of this marketing wheel and how do we find this from the digital world. All right. This is data and our digital assets, if you will. How can we do this business? We're going to start with the free sources, and then we'll jump down. Phase 2 is the stuff that you actually have to pay for. Who likes free stuff? Yes. Everybody should raise your hand. Speaking of, we do have free stuff. I have a hat and some t-shirts back there, but we have to do one thing. And that's Kimberly's holding up that sign. At the end of tonight, you just have to scan that and give us, it's like a 30-second video review of tonight or anything you're doing in the business, there's a couple questions on there. 30-second review, and you get a hat or a t-shirt or whatever we have back there. Free stuff. Who likes free stuff? Woo! All right, good. So we're going to start with free leads. And how do we find them? How do we investigate them, research them? And then we'll jump into some of the paid stuff that we use as well. All right. Let's just kind of identify and talk through what is our ultimate goal. Ultimately, we're looking for a discount property. Okay? Why do we want a discount? Anybody? Yeah. That's it. Making money, right? This is a business, guys. If you're in this for charity, you don't need to be here. Just go buy something. You don't need to be here. It's really not that hard to just buy a house, okay? But if you're doing this as a business, and at the end of the day, you want equity or profit, then you're going to have to find it at a discount, okay? And so here's some of those lists, some of those things. I just want to put this out here so that you know what we're going towards. These are some of our favorite lists that we pull. These are some of the, if properties are on one of these lists, then they're likely to be a discount, okay? When we get into some of the cool tech that we have, there's actually some AI, some artificial intelligence that will actually tell us if they're likely on these or likely going to be on these. Who wants to see that? Right? You guys, it's just crazy what the AI does now. But I know it's all over your feeds, your Facebook, in your mailbox or whatever. They can now, the credit card companies and everybody, they can look at your profile, just your metadata or whatever, and they can basically tell you where you're going to be in 6 months. How do they do that? They look at people that where you were 6 months ago, and they say, oh, well, he's headed that direction, right? AI can do that for houses too. Crazy stuff. All right. So first step and the freest and the easiest place to go is the county website. Who shops and looks in Lexington, Richland County? Is that where y'all are farming? Okay. Great, easy to use websites as far as government is concerned, I guess. There's not the easiest, but they're easy enough. All right. Here's the places you want to go and know. Tax assessor, the clerk of court, GIS, magistrate, and register of deeds. All right? You would think that all the info you need is in one place. Sometimes it is. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time you got to toggle between these 3 or 4 places. Okay? All right? And here's the stuff that you can get from there. Did y'all know that you can find out what properties are in probate right now? Yes. Who does that? Who in this room goes and looks and sees what properties are in probate? Nobody. Okay, I like it. Let's do it. Tomorrow. Go for it. Did y'all know that there's a stat? It's on my podcast, the one I did with Micah, where this is all he deals with is probate leads, but it's something like 75% of properties that go through probate get sold. Why is that? They didn't want that house. They don't want the house. They don't want the headache. They don't want the house. And they would rather have money. That's right. So we just said that this info is free, but nobody in this room is getting it right now. Almost. You're about there. Let's get it. I want to get it. So I'm just saying, the divorce data is out there. Yes, people sell properties because they're getting a divorce, right? Part of this, as being discount property finders, is people that are going through difficult situations in their life really don't want to add the headache of Lucas Group. Y'all close your ears, Rochelle. They don't want the headache of agents. They just want it done. They just want it done, and they're willing to pay for the convenience of that service. Or just get it done, okay? And they pay by giving you equity. They don't pay you money, but they give you equity and you buy it at a discount. All right, all of this is up there. Mortgages, liens, bankruptcy, it's all up there. It's all in the data sources. Now, I will say this caveat because we're in South Carolina, and anywhere you're doing this pooling data, South Carolina has a law that you cannot market to people using the public data sources. Y'all read the law, figure it out on your own. But basically, you don't want to go to the county website, pull someone's information, call them, and say, hey, I got your information from the county website. I'd like to buy your house. That's not legal. And you can't mail them, right? You can't start sending them postcards and stuff like that. All right? So the information is here for research. Does that make sense? Okay? You don't want to go building a business based on things that are breaking the law. Okay? So we use it for research. Don't get stuck. Yes, I got to tell y'all. Oh my gosh. I know Kimberly's back there. She's been doing this for a long time. Who in here has seen a lead or had a seller or was looking at a property, maybe a foreclosure online, and then you started researching everything you could at the county website? Has anybody done that? You go down the rabbit hole of this house was bought 50 years ago by so-and-so, and then they sold it 10 years after that. And yeah, don't get stuck. Do not get stuck. It's a long rabbit hole on the county website. They literally tell you everything. You don't need it. You don't need half of it. You don't need 90% of that, right? You don't need to know what their situation, you don't need to know how much money was in their bankruptcy judgment or whatever. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. What you're looking for is the fact that they have some sort of motivation, okay? So please don't do that. Please don't go into that rabbit hole, because you'll be there. You'll feel like you're working. You'll be like, man, I was deal finding today. I was out there online and I spent 8 hours and I researched 4 properties. And then you'll call me and be like, man, I'm so excited I was deal finding. I'm like, how many sellers did you talk to? Or how many property owners? Well, not yet, but I know exactly who I'm going to call and how much money they lost and blah, blah, blah. That's not being a deal finder. You're never going to get a deal if you're just looking and getting stuck in the county website. All right, so don't do it. Same goes with these. Y'all can write these down. Does everybody know what Zillow is? Right? How good is the Zestimate on Zillow? Not good, is it? Who looks at it and thinks it, like, uses that to price their properties? Anybody? You're right. What do you?
I thought it was pretty good.
Do you? Well, not really. Sellers think they're on point. They think that they are accurate to the T. Some of them might actually land there, but the reality is y'all, that Zestimate is taking all this algorithm stuff. They just don't have it. They don't know the condition of the property. They just don't know what that property looks like. So they can only compare it to the data they have, and the data they have is brand new fixed up houses sold here and piece of junk houses sold here, and they try to find a happy median, right? So you got to know how to do that. Don't spend too much time looking at Zestimates. Do not put any faith in your offers using Zestimates, all right? We do love Zillow and Realtor.com. Again, local little tidbit, Zillow doesn't hold pictures. Realtor.com will hold pictures from the last sale here locally. That's just our MLS. That's just what it is. The days on market, huge. It's so easy to get to. The price per square foot, so easy to get to from these sites. It's just super easy to grab. Pricing strategy, you can see people's price drops, price increases, rent drops. What's the rent versus what they bought it for. I love looking at it like that. These sites make it so much easier to do that. But Zillow's hard to go buy a property. You can use the MLS, right? But they're there. For sale by owner, Fizbo.com, and for rentbyowner.com, great places to look for deals. Great places to find a good deal. On Zillow, you go to the rent, change your thing to for rent. Great place to find deals. If you look at it and it's a property owner, the phone number is an owner, not a property manager. That's a landlord that's managing their own properties. Why would we want to call them? They could be tired. I can just tell you from experience, and I hesitate to say this because there's some property managers in here, Bishop. You're going to have to close your ears now. It's just not a lot of fun when you own the property and you're dealing with the tenants. Property management, yeah, you just had to deal with them, right? Yeah, it's awful. Property managers have that third-party separation. They don't have to deal with the drama of hey, that's my house you just destroyed, right? So it's a little bit better for them. But when you're the property owner and you're listing it and you got people calling you from Zillow and Redfin and all these places, oh my gosh, right now it's making me sick right now. I'm visibly getting upset. So call them. They got their phone number. Just ask them if they would consider an offer. Okay. So great place to make some offers, find some deals. All right. Y'all take a picture of this because you're going to want this. Here's the deal. Not all of these auction sites, they all have a different source for leads, for properties, right? This is not an exhaustive list. The first 3 or 4 have the most. The 2 bottom ones are kind of niche lists. The Terry Howe, they're almost exclusively, I think, just South Carolina. So just tips there. But there's more. Oh my gosh, there's so much more. Auction.com is great. They'll actually throw up the foreclosures that are going to be hitting the state house or courthouse steps. So if it says on there it's a live auction, generally that means that it's going to be at the courthouse, right? So you can look at those and you can do your work from there. But some of these, they're selling. You can go and make an offer, make a bid right now on one of these properties. Okay. So go make some offers. Our second or third, or maybe third and fourth, there's 2 properties we bought from homesearch.com, which now is Zone, I think it is. So we bought them from auctions. That was pre-COVID. Since COVID, we haven't bought any from them. The last few years, there really wasn't any good deals. And basically, they were using it as a pricing just to see what the market would say. And then they would just list the properties. But now they're back to actually selling through auction.com, Hubzu. We're seeing people actually close on them. So that's cool. All right. Any questions on phase 1, free stuff? So I didn't want to dive into all that because it's free. Y'all can play around with those all you want. The next 3, I've got 3 sites for you, and these are the 3 that I have on my phone. These are the 3 that I go to for everything, for research. This is what our team uses. And so we can dive into these, and I'll just kind of show you, click around and show you what's there. Each one of these, there's a price for them. I think I put them as anyway, they go from the cheapest to the most, I think. But anyway, they all have a good app, and this is where when you want to get serious and really build your business, convenience is important to us too. Speed is important to us too. The reality is if you're building your business and you're doing something that you can't do consistently. If you're doing something in your business that you can't do every day and efficiently, then you're going to quit doing it, and then that's going to be the end of it. So marketing and research are like the 2 things that we do every single day, all day. So that's why I like convenience of these. All right, so dealmachine.com, that's the promo code. Here is Deal Machine. So does anybody in here have Deal Machine? Yes? Only one? Oh my gosh, I'm missing out. Who likes to drive their cars? Yes. Does anybody drive? Yes? Okay, good. What? Y'all don't like to drive? This is crazy. So, Deal Machine is like the very first, the best Driving for Dollars app. Who knows Driving for Dollars? So if you don't, go to last month's talk. I talked a lot about Driving for Dollars. But basically, I just take my phone and I'll stick it, like it has a magnet right here, and put it on my dash. And then as we're driving around, you could just click the properties. I don't know. Where are we? Reload map. Of course, I don't know if the Wi-Fi is any good here. All right, here we go. All right, here's a property right there. All right. Gabriel, where are you? If you might have to cut out people's names and stuff. We have to pay extra for editing this month. All right. So here's the deal. So I just clicked on it. So the reason it's blue is because I drove by this property at some point. All of these are like well, I think PropStream's not actually, but these two are like a test account or whatever. So I put these in here. And so I'm hoping that I got enough info. So here's the address, and this pops up on your phone as you're driving just by clicking. Here's what we know about it is empty nester and off market. So here's the thing, empty nester, they're calling that as possibly someone that might want to sell. What's an empty nester? Why would maybe they want to sell? Downsize. How do they know that? Good question. How do they know that? So here's the thing is when we manually pull our list, one of the lists I used to like to pull is people that have lived in the house for 20 years, 30 years or more. If you bought a house 30 years ago, likely if you had kids in it, most likely they're gone. So if you've been in the house, right. Well, so you may not fit that model, but they are guessing. But the other thing is they may have seen people's names change mailing address. So if there was 4 people that were getting mail here and now just 2 or 1, technology, I don't know how they do it. I don't. But what we are here to do is to try to use this information to better our business. So you can actually, so Deal Machine we use just for driving around, clicking and posting, and we send mail. You can actually build a list from here. So you can use this and search for everybody. So here's how they use it. Properties whose owners are 50 years or older and have no children currently living in the household. So there you go. I won't ask you how old you are, but so that's how they figured out. But look, here's the crazy stuff. You got mortgage rate, estimated how much they owe on it, all kinds of stuff. Tax delinquent, no, great. You've got the heirs, you got the people, and then so we sent mail. Mail's complete. You can send more mail, but here is the beauty of it all. You've got their phone numbers, and if you really want to hustle and do this business, you can be sitting in front of the house and then just click the button and call. Would that be helpful for you guys? If you're trying to get a deal. One of our deal partners, Luis down in Augusta, or Leo down in Augusta, did this last night. He was like, this guy's going into foreclosure. They're going to sell it on Tuesday or whatever. And he's like, can I call him? I said, absolutely, you can call him. See what he says. All they can say is, no, I don't want to sell. And so this is how he pulled it up. He just clicked it and called him. All right. So everything's available here. It's crazy. So all of these sites that I'm going to show you, all of this data, they're basically pulling it all from the same place. You guys get credit card offers in the mail. You guys get crazy stuff like, how do they know that about me? All of your data is in this big, huge data list, right? And so these big companies are able to buy that information, specific information about us. And so they just put it in the apps and they make it easy for us to see. All right, that's just how it works. So it's all in here. Some of the cool things is for Deal Machine is you got senior owner. What does that mean? Properties whose owners are typically 65 or older. And so you can search by all those. Absentee owner is our most favorite. And absentee owner means the owner doesn't live there. Everything is absentee owner for us. Recently sold, obviously, if it's recently sold, we probably wouldn't target them, okay? Because they probably just bought it. All right? Cool thing with Deal Machine now is they also have a dialer built in now, so you can use this, and because typically they're app based. You can do it obviously on your laptop, but they're really app based, so you can actually call from there. All right.
Question is your favorite just guess was most likely to go for sale, right?
Exactly. Well, and they're much more open to the conversation. It's a lot easier for them to sell if they don't have to move. Right? All right. Who's heard of PropStream? All right, more people. Good. More people have heard of PropStream. Does anybody use it now? Good. There's a couple of other sites very similar to PropStream. Obviously, I mean, I've checked them all out. Not all of them. I've checked a lot of them out. I've used a lot of them. Our team has settled on this for PropStream for years because of the ease of use. And there's so much data here. When I talked about earlier, don't get lost in the data. Holy cow, don't get lost in the PropStream data. You can be in here for hours on one property and just like, oh my God, click, click, click. But again, that's not helping you get anywhere. You just need to get enough information to know how to reach out to them. Let the current property owner tell you what's up. Okay? Don't try to tell the story. I was just telling Julian earlier, like, we don't want to try to invent their story. We want to ask them the questions and let them tell us what's going on. Okay? Because the data is not going to tell us how that's affecting them. It might tell us what's going on, but we don't know how it affects them. All right? So here's PropStream. I found this one here, let me go there. Close your eyes. Just kidding. Hopefully you can't figure that out. I don't know. Let's see. So a lot of y'all have used PropStream, know PropStream. That's great. It's very user-friendly again. I'm just going to do Columbia. Here's my favorite piece is up here. You can grab cash buyers, which is not that big a deal anymore because we're not wholesaling. You want to find some partners, you could do it through there. Liens is a great one. You got the vacant properties, pre-foreclosures. All these are kind of up top here. And you could just, like if I just do vacant in Columbia, there's 3,000 vacant homes.
Cash buyers, you said I'm not seeing anymore, but you were you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. As a realtor, you can grab, there's 20,000 of them. If you want to market to them, just send them whatever your marketing piece is. You got cash buyers right there. For cash buyers, we don't use it because you can't wholesale in South Carolina. So we don't really, yeah. So an agent can use it and market to them. So anyway, I can just grab one. I don't know anything about these, but just by clicking on it, now I know that this is wrong. It's definitely not estimated balance. They have a big mortgage. That is not wrong. They bought a bunch of properties with one mortgage because the estimated value is 127. But the cool thing is we can figure that out just by looking. So this is a growth fund that bought it. And I don't know why this is looking weird, but it is probably like they bought a package of properties. It says it was purchased with cash, but we know there's a mortgage on it. So this is done with an LLC, and they bought a whole bunch of property, most likely. But if we wanted to see, and this is one of my favorite things, where is it? Oh, linked properties. So you can see if you're looking at a tired landlord or somebody that's a cash buyer or somebody that's doing deals, you can kind of check that out, let you know what their properties are, and you can see which ones they bought at that time. Another great thing is your transaction history. You got comparables. This is, I think, one of the best things about PropStream is running your comps, because they will pull in MLS data and they actually keep the pictures because they just pull it in and they leave it because you have to log in. It's not like Zillow where it's free for everybody. So I don't know. Maybe they eventually will take them away. But right now they keep those pictures so you can see what the condition of the property was when it sold. So like I said earlier, you're comparing sale data with like it's a brand new, fully renovated house versus the one that sold for cash because there's a hole in the roof. Those two are totally different comps. So this is really great for PropStream to keep them for us. So this is a really great place to run your comps, and you agents out there, when you run your CMA, your comp analysis using the MLS, where does it get its data? The MLS. So where are all properties sold and bought through the MLS? Nope. It's actually like 50-50. So right here, you got public record and MLS. There's only 3 MLS sales versus public record brought 11. Now the 3 are going to be duplicated. So that means there's 8 others. So if you're running comps through the MLS, you're missing out on 80, is that 75%? That's a lot. Okay? So, sorry, agents. We got a leg up on you over here. All right? If you need help with that, y'all just let me know. So you got,
Of course, I know PropStream for a little while.
yes.
That it's approved.
So, so we talked about that the data from PropStream was like an old list. They bought the data. They actually sold, the owners of PropStream sold the business. And so I think during that transition, this was probably last year, 18 months ago or something. Maybe it's 2 years now. But they've, I've been told that they have since updated the data. And we haven't mailed a list from here, so I don't know exactly what the response rate would be since then. But I do know that when I use it here, I'm seeing what I need to see. Yeah. If you pull a list, so if I say something you don't understand, I'll just define that. Pulling a list means we go to PropStream, we put in this parameters of, say, I want, the vacant houses. And then we download that list, and then we could send mail to that. Cool thing is we can actually do apartments as well. If we want to say 30 units, we can send mail to the things that are that many units or more or less, whatever. So you can pull that, and that's what we call a list. You guys got it? Cool. All right. What else is fun about this? Kimberly, you have any fun stuff that you do in here? Or did I hit it all? Yes. See it right. So over here on the left, y'all see this? Thank you, Kimberly. So you got flip comps, and that takes out your manual work that I was just talking about, looking at pictures. This is actually, I say relatively new. It's probably been there a year now. Time is relative. Bank owned. I wonder if our rehab wallet ones are here. What do y'all know the address? No, these are commercial. That's probably not y'all. So PropStream is now incorporating some AI as well, and this is kind of like their property condition AI. It's very new, and I don't know how helpful that really is. I don't know what AI and property condition is going to help me. So I'd rather just ask the seller or ask the owner. All right. And where's my mouse? Is this helpful? You guys like this? Is this good to spend some time on that? Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're open. If y'all have questions, you want to know something, let me know. That's the PropStream one. I forgot to put up a slide. Oh well. We'll just jump over to Deal Finder data. So no, I am not a tech. I did not build this. I'm not able to build an app. Whether do I want to build an app? But we have some friends and some partners that did build this, and they put the stuff in it that we want. Specifically, things like absentee owner, where you can click on that, or you can search by all the absentee owners. Free and clear properties. This is probably one of my favorite, is the board investor, because our business through the years, growing our rental portfolio, I don't know. I should probably look at the percentage, but probably half of them came from board investors. And what is that? That's the investor that they've had these for a long time. And we got great deals from them because they bought them 20, 30 years ago, and they've just been getting mailbox money. And sometimes we get lucky, and that board investors' mindset of what these properties are worth, it's set by, how much work they've had to do and how awful these tenants are. And so their actual internal clock or internal thermometer of how much the property is worth has been going down. And when they bought it 20, 30 years ago, they were already pretty low. So these bored investors, you can actually get better deals because their thermometers set a little different because they're bored. They're not coming to these events. They're not paying attention to what could be if they upgrade. They're not paying attention to what they could do with some new financing or whatever that looks like. They're bored. They're checked out. They don't really want to deal with it. And so we can go in and get some really good deals, get some good financing, and buy some rentals or some flips with them as well. All right. This, y'all, again, shout out if you have any questions. This big thing here is one that on this app is incredible. It's the AI Sale Predictor. So you can filter here by the sellability scores is what they call it. Anything over a 500 or 550 is likely to sell using this AI whatever. So I set this at 600 and then go back to the map. And it gave me 155 in Colombia. So 155 people that their technology tells us they want to sell. They're about to sell. Likely at a discount. The wholesale means likely at a discount that a wholesaler or a flipper could do. Likely to sell at retail means likely to sell they would need an agent. If you're an agent, you could reach out to them, right? Likely to sell as a rental, that means it's probably would do well as a rental property. Might already be a rental property. Okay. Data-wise, you get a lot of the same stuff. Property detail. Here's your very likely to sell at a discount in 90 days. There's their info. Just try, you get all kinds of stuff. You got the loan history, transactions. You got your comps. Look at that. And PropStream and this and Deal Machine, all of them, you can send postcards, you can send mail, you can send your marketing straight from the app. Again, I go back to what makes our business efficient and functional is things that we can do on a consistent basis. So if these are easy to use and you can get that mail, that you can get that marketing out, then you're going to continue to do it. So that's why I love these. That's why we use them. Any questions? This one actually does loop in a financing piece to it. And it's just one of our lender partners where you can click on it and get some pre-approval letters. You can apply for the loans and stuff like that. It's nothing different than calling Rehab Wallet, but it's nice that it's in the app.
Just a quick question about the comps. It's the Deal Finder. You see that kind of similar to what we normally do?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the comps, you can run your comps on your own for free on Zillow, which actually I do a lot more than logging into an app. Talking about you need things to be easy to use. If I have to click login, a lot of times I'm not doing it. However, Zillow, whatever server they're on in China or wherever, is not great. So a lot of times I go to it and it's like, it's not working. So, but yes, you can do it on Zillow and you can find your comps that way. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. All three of them are. Dealfinderdata.com is that one. I didn't have it in the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I did it in order where it's Deal Machine is, I think, has anybody signed up for Deal Machine lately? The price has gone up. I feel like they're like $80, and then PropStream's like $100, and then Deal Finder Data is like $129. Honestly, you could just go to their website. Yeah, but I think that's right. I should have looked. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. A lot of these apps are going to be very similar. What you're looking for is something that you can use and you will use consistently and get you this information. All of those will have basically the same data. It's about what you can get and what they offer beyond the data. the AI tools, the list building, the marketing, the app, all of that. Okay. Again, we have all three because I just like all three for different reasons. I could just be dumb for that. Y'all might just say, I just need one. It's perfect. Use what you will use that will help you do your business. All right. So again, start free when you can, but when you're really serious and you want to get going, get efficient, do this business over and over and scale it, you're going to have to get some tools. You're going to have to pay for some tools. It's just a business, right? You got to have some expenses in there. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is get to those motivated sellers. Find the sellers before the next person does. All of these things can be done from the comfort of your couch. You can do all this. You don't even have to leave. You can use Google Maps and drive for dollars, or you can actually Deal Machine has now incorporated that, where you can virtually drive for dollars on the app. You just sit there and you just go down the street and you look and see if there's a house that looks like it's in trouble. You do not have to leave your home. I suggest you leave your home, though. Vitamin D is good for you. Get out and take a walk, right, Michelle? Get out there, go talk to some sellers, get your business rolling. Again, I go back to the beginning of the slides where it's like most people aren't going to do anything, okay? So when you guys leave here, maybe these aren't your apps. Maybe you found something today that's like mind-blowing, fantastic. Whatever it is, make tomorrow your next step, okay? Make tomorrow your next move in your business. Whether you've already bought 10 houses or 100 houses, tomorrow is the next step, okay? So I don't know what that is for you, but I would say to build your action plan for success. All right, get connected in here. There's people in here that can help you build that action plan. If you want to, actually, that's the next slide. There you go. You can scan that, and we'll have a call together where we talk about where you are, where you want to be, and what do you have now that help you get there. Okay, and we can help build that next step plan, the next step action plan together. Okay. So that's what we want for you guys. We're here to help you as far as deal finders. All of our team is back here. We're here just to build each other up, connect, and help you guys learn the business. So if we can be of help, if I can be of help, scan that, get on our calendar, and I'd love to talk to y'all soon. And that's it. We are ready to just go do deals. All right? So that's it, you guys.
Thanks for listening to the REI Deal Finders podcast. You can find out more and apply to be a part of the REI Deal Finder community at reidealfinders.club.